All right, I was going to call this tutorial, So You Want to Be a Substitute Teacher? Well, so you want to be a substitute teacher. Well, guess what? It's a wonderful job. There's no reason why you couldn't be a substitute teacher. It's not bad pay. Some people don't realize this, but there are some positions that you can get that you will actually get paid $150 a day, which is not bad pay. The other thing, you only work six and a half hours, 6.5 hours, not even a whole 8 hour shift. So you would be allowed to come when the kids come and leave when the kids come. So it ends up working out pretty well for you. Two, there's no lesson plans. Hallelujah. The paperwork is minimum. Unless you take a long term position. If you take a long term position, you are responsible for doing those things. Lesson plans. But that's where your money is. You get more money doing that. So I'm going to add a couple more videos. This video is just the basics of how you should approach becoming a substitute teacher and your first experiences in the classroom, as well as what you would be looking at. Okay, so one, you decide you want to be a substitute teacher. You go and you apply. The application process itself is a little bit difficult. And this is why I believe a lot of people do not get into substitute teaching. And it's because of the application process. Let me explain it to you. First of all, they cannot just put you in a substitute position because you have a high school diploma. They can't do that because there's too many bad people in the world, and they have to make sure that you don't have any kind of records. With that being said, if you have traffic tickets, if you have, I don't know, you have minor misdemeanors on your record, that does not necessarily prevent you from becoming a substitute teacher. All that means is you have to disclose it. So make sure that you disclose your tickets or your violations. Okay, that's I feel like that may be like a big thing for people. They're afraid, oh, I had a ticket and I can't become a substitute teacher. Okay, that's not true. You can become a substitute teacher. You just have to disclose, yes, I had a ticket. It went into warrant, but it's cleared up, and now I'm ready to move on with my life. It's not that big of a deal. You just have to disclose it, okay? Two, your background information, any kind of your references, your job references. If they cannot get a hold of the people, then they automatically put you in the could not contact pile. Once you're in the pile, nobody takes you out of that pile unless you call them and say, hey, one of my references said they were having a hard time getting in touch with you or something. Then you're going to need to contact them and change out that reference and get another reference that can be helpful to you. And I think that's a big one too, because I remember when I tried to become a substitute teacher, one of the things that was stopping me from becoming a substitute teacher was the fact that one of my references did not get back to them. So I had to contact my reference and say, hey, the school district's trying to contact you. Can you please, please, please go ahead and reach out to them and help me out here? And then I called the school district and said, hey, I understand that one of my references didn't get back to you. Can you please resubmit the information so that they can respond this time? And so that was big. So you got to make sure your references are people that are actually going to pick up the phone. And you need to make sure that you disclose all of your misdemeanors, whatever that is, Okay, so now that you've done that, you will need to go get fingerprinted. But that's not that big of a deal. So this is the thing about the fingerprinting. You don't necessarily have to go down to licensure to get fingerprinted. You can actually get fingerprinted at one of these local bartending schools, because they also do fingerprinting. So you just have to Google fingerprinting places near me, and there's a whole list of them. You don't have to wait for, but they are CCSD approved. They are approved fingerprinting. So just so you know. But there are other places that you can go and get fingerprinted other than going down to the district to get fingerprinted. Let's see. What else with the application process? Again, follow through with your application. Make sure that they remember you. Just make sure that you follow through with that application. Once you're fingerprinted, then you can go to licensure and all those things. But you'll do that after you're hired. Before you're hired, you really don't have to do much. You just fill out the application, make sure your references are okay, and you've disclosed any and all criminal records or criminal activities. Okay, now they'll call you for the interview. At that point, they will tell you that it's time to get your license and go for fingerprinting and and all that. So don't worry about that. That's the second part of the process. The first thing that you need to do is just get in there and get the interview. The second part would be then to go get fingerprinted. And then the third part would be to go down to licensure and take them your college credits, which are going to be 60, right? Because you need 60 college credits, which is almost an associate's degree, but not quite an associate's degree. The thing about it too is it doesn't necessarily need to be in education. That is the misconception. Some people think, oh gosh, I have an accounting degree, I can't possibly become a substitute teacher. Not true. You can. But again, you need to go down to licensure. They'll look at all your credentials and see what you got and determine what it is that you need to move forward. Okay? Now, you go there and you say, okay, I've got a different, I have 60 credits, college credits, but they are not in a specific area. Okay. So then you need to take that down there and see if they'll accept it, or they'll tell you what they will accept, or maybe you just take one course and you're done. I'm not sure, but I know that you do have to have Nevada law. Okay, and that's because of the laws that are involved with special education students and all these rights that all the children have and all those kinds of things. So that's another thing. Okay, so now you've gone through the application process and you're at the point of hire. Okay? Now you go in and you have your interview and they have the licensure and everything. Now you go into the system, which isn't too bad, right? So you go online and you log in with your credentials. You go online and they give you a list of all the schools that need a substitute teacher for that day. You go through that list. Your highest paying jobs are going to be your long-term positions. So these are the positions that the teacher had to have surgery, is going to be out for a month. Anything over, I think if it's over 5 days, you start, or 3 days, you start getting extra pay for these long-term sub positions. They're perfect. I love the long-term sub positions because I could actually be the teacher without having to have the teacher license and all the responsibilities of being a teacher. So I liked that too. Let's see. So you go on there and you look for schools close to your home or whatever it is, whatever criteria that you are looking for. So then you take one. All right, now what does this look like? Well, you're going to walk into the school, walk into the front office, and you're going to come in and you're going to stand at this desk. Well, not a desk. It's I guess it's a desk. So you're going to stand at this desk, right? And you're going to say, I'm so and so, and I'm here for. Make sure you have the name of the person and the job number. That's always very helpful. I'm here for Miss Smith, her kindergarten class, and I'm going to be here for the next week. Oh my goodness, a sub picked up Miss Smith's class. Yay! Everybody, a sub's here. We love you. That's the other wonderful thing about being a sub. They love you. They love every school loves subs because right now they're dying for them because nobody ever wants to sub. I don't know why you don't want to sub. If you don't like the kids, you get to leave. If you don't like the school, you get to leave. You don't like the principal, you're out of there. You don't have to go back to that school. It's so easy. I suggest that you do this. All right? Go to the school. Whatever school's close to your house. Look and see. See, a short term, just one day or maybe 2 days, okay? Go in there. Get your feet wet. See what it's like. Those kids, if they're great, then start asking around. Hey, well, do you have any positions available? Whatever. You want to go in there? Go ahead and get your feet wet. Don't worry about it. Go and just do 1 day or 2 days. So I believe when I first started, because this was 24 years ago. So when I very first started, I believe that I took jobs that were only 2 days, no more than 2 days, just because I wanted to know how the school was before I committed to that long-term position. And being in all those different classrooms, I started really seeing that the lesson plans looked familiar. I started understanding what it was I wanted to teach. I started narrowing it down. I did middle school, high school, elementary school, special education, general education. I did it. I didn't care. I took them all. I wanted to see what it was like. And so that's what I did. I just jumped in there. 1 or 2 days. That's it. Now you have a little bit of an idea of what's going on. All right, so now what will that look like? All right, so here we go. I think that I'm going to do a second video, which will be called The Day of a Substitute Teacher. And then we can go into what you should do when you very first walk in the door and things like that. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, but in the meantime, don't be afraid to go to your local school district and sign up to be a substitute teacher. It's not bad pay. It's not that difficult to walk in, read somebody's notes, and spend the day with the kids. All right. I'll see you later. We'll see how it goes. All right. Bye, guys. And I hope you become a substitute teacher sooner than later. Have a good one. Bye.